to talk about before we get into all that is some funny comments that Jehovah's Witnesses left, which we like to check in on sometimes. And so let's do that. I wish I had a song. One thing I meant to do was like upload some music that we could play in the background. But actually, the StreamYard has some built-in background music. I wonder if there's like classical sounding stuff we could play. Okay. We can vibe with this. Let me know if the volume is okay. I can either turn up or down the music. But real talk, before we get too far into this, I do have to take a drink of water.
My church had been giving me ass to drink, but now I was freely receiving, the water of life.
Interesting, it continues playing the lo-fi beats underneath the drops. All right. Music kind of loud. All right, let's get this shit turned down. No, I cursed. We literally have a servant of Jehovah on screen, so you are in luck, my friend. Let's see here. So obviously this comment here, this is from a servant of Jehovah, 7849. Obviously it was not actually left an hour ago. This is just a screenshot from whenever. This is from the real estate video. Raising money is not immoral or illegal, you conscienceless liar. If you have evidence of law breaking, take it to the police and have the watchtower shut down, you shameless hypocrite. All right, well, I left a snide little reply that he should, watch the video, because it's not about their practices being illegal. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Like, the whole thing is about the banality of evil and how cults, and especially churches, godly groups like this, quote-unquote godly groups, are able to get away with a lot because they take advantage of the extreme deference that our country like the US has towards religion. So yeah, I mean, their real estate shenanigans, their scamanigans aren't illegal, but they are unethical. That was my contention. So that's kind of a low stakes comment. Understandable. From Mike G 7547. I have overwhelming evidence that Jehovah of the Watchtower is Satan. I don't believe him. Like I told him, I think that you would first need to have overwhelming evidence that Satan exists. I'm going to be real with you. These kinds of comments really make me angry. They really, really make me mad. So that's just free information for the trolls out there if you really want to trigger me. It's doing this conspiracy bullshit where you're insisting that the Watchtower is secretly controlled by Satan or that they worship Satan. It's just, I hate it. I think it makes this all look so stupid. Like, this falls into the exact kind of craziness that the Watchtower is implying apostates are into. Like, most quote-unquote apostates are just people who sincerely have come to realize that the group is not the truth, that it's harmful, and we point to the obvious and measurable, demonstrable, real-world harms that the group causes. Like people dying, for example, of blood loss because of their blood transfusion rule in CSA, and all of these things can be explained without having to resort to invisible, magical bullshit. There were a lot of comments on the real estate thing from people saying, like, ooh, if you look in the background, there's a satanic symbol. There's a Freemason symbol. And I'm like, Satan's fake. Guys, why would Satan, the invisible meanie man, be the one thing that you retain after leaving a cult? Like, why would you not question that ridiculous premise? Like, all of these things, all of the evil things that Jehovah's Witnesses do are done by many other churches, many other cults and high control groups. I think part of the waking up process is realizing that we are not special. Like the Jehovah's Witnesses, we weren't special people. We were victims of a group that, like many other groups, is not divinely inspired, is not appointed by God. It's just another cult. And there are a lot of cults out there. And it seems like some people are like, they're like the guy in I Think You Should Leave who's like, I haven't been tricked. Nobody tricked me. And instead of reconciling or reckoning with the fact that they were fooled, like we all were, fooled by Jehovah, a lot of people feel like, well, I wasn't tricked because actually Satan tricked me because the group is being controlled by Satan. And they brainwash people by putting secret pictures in the back of their images and subliminal messaging. I wasn't consciously persuaded using rhetorical trickery. There is magic afoot. I know I've spent a long time on just this one comment that wasn't even Jehovah's Witness, but I needed to get that rant out of my system. It just makes us all look bad. It makes us all look like fucking idiots. People who do this stuff do such damage to what exJWs are trying to do, to, in good faith, make sure that there are reforms to this group that can make the lives of members better and like call attention to abuse so that they are forced to change things, like what happened with disfellowshipping. What happened in Norway is a result of a secular democracy that is not beholden to religion, so they are able to hold religions to account. And if the primary critics of Watchtower in Norway were talking about satanic symbols hidden in the back of publications, it would have just made us look insane, and Jehovah's Witnesses wouldn't have been held to account. So I get really upset about this. Fucking fix your brains. I can't. That wasn't a nice comment, but you just need to stop and think, hey, maybe there aren't invisible people hiding pictures in things. Maybe it's just that people, all people, in some ways, at some points in their lives, are gullible. My wife helps me stay sane when I go on insane rants, and we actually have great news to announce. It's my wife, Christina.
Hello.
Hello. You graduated from college this weekend on Friday.
I did.
Oh my God.
I know, it's crazy.
So proud of you.
Well, thank you.
You were studying the occult in the ways that Satan hides images in the back of commercials for chips. Is that right?
In fact, that was one of my papers I had to do for psychology. How did you know?
That's
crazy.
Here's the thing with psychology. There's all these secret people hypnotizing you into believing things. No, okay, sorry. I'm like making this about me in my bits.
No, you're good.
Sincerely, I'm so proud of you. Early when we got married, you said that like, like if I could go back to school at some point, it would be to do social work.
Mm-hmm.
And when you started to question the group, the first thing you did was like, fuck it, I'm going to school. Yeah,
it didn't take a whole lot of convincing. It took me a whole lot of convincing to like even consider it because I was still preemie.
Yeah.
Once I started questioning things, you're like, why don't you just do it? And I'm like, you're right. Why don't I?
Why don't ya?
Why don't I follow Nike's saying and just do it?
Well, but that Nike swoosh is actually a satanic symbol. We don't have time to get into that. But it was really like, I've just never seen this happen in my life, because we're not surrounded by people who are able to go to college or anything.
True.
Like you're the first person I know, like in my life, that I want to go back to school. I mean, you signed up and you did it and you did all this hard work and then you graduated and you got your associate's degree.
Mm-hmm.
You're going you're transferring to a new school to go for your bachelor's and your master's.
Mm-hmm.
But it's awesome. And I think it's inspiring for me and just, you inspire me a lot.
Thank you.
Do you want to react to some comments?
I would love to.
Okay.
I would love to. Let's do it.
Okay. Ooh, you know what? Look, you commented on this one. Oh my God.
I did.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So this one, there were some weird racist people who didn't like just the fact that I pointed out that all the governing body members are, well, not all, but most are white.
Are white men.
Yeah. And like, the last 6 people appointed have been white.
Like, what are we doing? Are we like getting a graduation party together? Is that why so many governing body members have been appointed? Seems like a lot.
Right. And so this person whose username is incredibly stupid.
Yeah. Well.
A username checks out situation.
Correct.
Said yes, they should have more S components on the governing body, which I think is actually a slur.
I was going to say, which is not the correct term.
Inuit is the preferred term. You're right. All Jesus apostle are Jewish. He should have chosen a few Amalekites. An African American at the Last Supper would help, don't you think, Jake? And more diversity in the NBA. Why don't you complain about the NBA, Jake? Every time I click on your link, I see a white face. Are you a supremacist?
I literally cannot even fathom the thought process of this person because it's incredibly insane.
Oh my god.
We went from Eskimo to Amalekite to African American to NBA to supremacist.
This person did a speed run of common white nationalist talking points, but or Christian nationalists really, because they're Jesus, he didn't have a diverse group of followers. They were all the same ethnicity. And then he's actually, the NBA. And you're what? This is like in Arrested Development when White Power Bill stabs Job and he's like, but I'm white. This is what,
To me, it's just projection
okay.
at that point. You're telling me that, I'm a supremacist when really you're just projecting your own insecurities and racism onto somebody else.
I'm sorry, my privilege really is showing. Can I tell you something? I really had to wrestle with my own. Watch your racist. Sorry, I love you, channel. I can't. Sorry. Okay, here's what I was gonna say. I was struggling with just language when I was doing that video, and talking about trying to just figure out the way to not sound like an ignorant moron talking about it. Mm-hmm. So I have some sympathy with this.
Don't you appreciate my comments?
I do. I mean,
Whoa.
I think you're really...
The comment here is incredibly ignorant.
That is how I read your comments. That's kind of the vibe. Oh, yeah, I knew that you were doing a bit erase today. My instinct is always that people are doing bits. I just got to take a quick sip of the water of life.
The water of life.
Perfect.
I don't think I've actually seen you use that in your...
Yeah,
I'm
live.
Because I'm not usually watching your lives because I'm in
the
middle of homework and educating myself and not sounding like that ignoramus.
He's an ignoramus. When that guy did the little peg game at that restaurant's damn Cracker Barrel, he's rated an ignoramus every single time. By the way, Christina is the one comment warrior I have, and it's really funny because I never think that she will look at the comments, and then I will just see her duking it out, and it's amazing. But this guy, Mr. Market 777,
is that 666?
But one better,
or one worse, depending on how you feel.
That's a great point. I mean, 7's holy in the Bible, so maybe he's triple holy. Who did the little weirdo alt-worldly that's so angry at his father and does weird little videos for apostates? LMAO! What a weird, scorned little guy. LOL, I feel so bad for him. Come back, bro, or don't. Oh, what?
I don't understand. Is that a diss?
Okay, so with Mr. Market and Incredibly Stupid, how do people like this make it through the day? How are they living their lives?
On the internet.
No. When they're offline.
No, I don't think that they're ever offline, is what I'm saying.
But I need to understand, what does this person do in the morning? Is this how they communicate in real life?
Yeah, I would assume so. It's probably less, grammatically incorrect, probably,
are they
talking to people?
How is he not reading back his own work and thinking, this doesn't necessarily make sense?
No, I think that he's reading it back and going man, I just told that guy. Yeah. He's going to be crying after I post this stupid comment.
The JWs, they don't send their best, I have to say. They're not sending their best.
Is that person even a JW?
Honestly, yes, which we'll see from a later comment.
Yikes.
This one, there's nothing wrong with this comment. I just wanted to include it because a weird thing is happening with YouTube where it is recommending AI responses that I could just click. You know how sometimes they'll do that on emails too?
Oh, yeah.
Where they're oh, you can just say, thanks, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I don't know who these Philistines are who click on pre-written response. Truly the hallmark cards of email replies.
It's unfortunate.
I agree.
It really is.
But this person's like, I'll be the first to admit I don't agree with a lot of your content and ideas, but credit where credit is due. You nailed it on this one, well presented. So nice comment, but it was like
your AI mess.
There was multiple options. I'm glad you're able to separate the information from the messenger.
I like that one.
That's really in my voice too. That one's really the tone of the channel.
AI really nailed it.
They know me.
Really channeled Jake's voice on that.
Gronk gets me.
Oh,
Mr. Mark is back. This was on the Jacob Rumpf video. You're wasting your time trying to trash other religions. It's not a good look. Spend your time on good works. Or don't, whatever you want. Take care.
No, do whatever you want.
Or do whatever you want. Take care. So that's kind of nice, actually, because he left some options.
I feel like he's going like, you're a fucking idiot, but take care.
I like that he's basically like, this is not cute. This is not cute. This is not a good look.
You're doing well, sweetie.
You're doing very, very good. Okay, but then he really had a hard time with this one. Report this video. Bullying or harassing. 19 strikes and it will get automatically taken down for review.
I literally, is he encouraging people to report your video? Is that what that is?
For all of his fellow witnesses.
I doubt that he even has 19 friends.
Hoo-hoo! Devastating.
Sorry.
Mr. Market, you just got dunked on by a college graduate.
Which he probably is not.
Oh, well, yeah. Maybe he
there's not a lot of evidence pointing to the fact that he is college educated.
Or has ever read a book.
Yeah.
Maybe he majored in Mr. Marketing. I'm going to be doing a video probably for patrons on kind of a year-end review for my favorite videos that I did. Okay, what did I do okay this year? What can I improve on? Stuff like that. I think my favorite video that I did this year might be this Leak JW Elder Training video, but it didn't get a lot of views. And something I said at the top was sort of like the peanut butter challenge I used to do, where it's like Jehovah's Witnesses, they like to pop in the comments, but it seems like they never actually watched the video. So right up top, I said, if you want to watch the video without my commentary, nobody reply to any of these JWs asking that. Just say Sleepy Kirby, and because I was just looking around the room, and I got a Sleepy Kirby in the background. Brian Christina there. And this, I think, is the first Sleepy Kirby of the comment section. So that was really kind of a special occasion. By the way, great point by Emily Lopez. Shouldn't Mr. Market use his time more wisely, like doing more free labor for the board?
Maybe that's what he considers free labor for the board.
I think that's it. I think you're nailing it. He's somebody who thinks that he can...
He's proselytizing without having to leave his fucking home.
The excuse used to be that witnesses probably are thinking that they can count their time doing this, but they don't even do that anymore.
No, right.
So it's like...
Now you're just volunteering your time for what?
Yeah, I think we've talked about this sometimes, we've talked about this before on the channel. Similar to the crazy commenters at the hall, or people who were overly zealous in the field ministry and would stick their foot in people's doors and just stop every single person on the street in between houses. There are some people who kind of have, in addition to the normal narcissism you have as a Jehovah's Witness, they have the savior complex where they're they basically are just taking really seriously the blood guilt thing that the group is putting on them. And so they're basically no, the rules don't apply to me. I can go online.
I don't know if I ever told you this story, but this brother back home, elderly man, very kind, very sweet, but I always dreaded having to go out in service with him. I mean, I never saw it, but it was rumored that he carried a pocket knife with him and used the butt of the pocket knife to knock on people's doors.
Oh my God.
So they would know that he was there and they couldn't ignore him. And I'm like,
Jesus,
that shit is scary. First of all, don't be harassing somebody's front door. Harass a tree or something. But also, don't bring a fucking knife anywhere.
Yeah, to a gunfight or to a door out in service.
Or to a spiritual fight. Leave that up to God Almighty.
Yeah, theocratic warfare.
Yeah, exactly.
See, me too, Karen Booth. I can't get over this. When I was a witness, I just couldn't fathom
I was afraid to.
I actively avoided stuff like
Mhm.
like I never had apostate content just recommended to me on my YouTube because I was afraid of going anywhere near it. Earth Citizen says, "Why don't you shut and let us watch it and make our own judgment?" You know, that's the other side of the coin. We like to represent both sides on this channel. Okay, this is from Ready X to our so many ex-witnesses complaining videos. Is there any that actually appreciate what they had learned as being a witness and building on that? They used God's name Jehovah, non-Trinity, no burning hellfire, don't go to war, keep separate from the world, promote high moral standards, encourage preaching in the Bible, don't get involved in politics. Those are some of the good things I came away with, but very hard to find others with a positive outlook. I also learned not to trust men, do my own research, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Okay, first of all, just because you're using dashes does not mean that is a period to a sentence. You literally just have a run-on paragraph right here.
Good old Rhett disagrees. Would disagree with you, madam.
Yikes. I wish I could help people understand just a little bit. I mean, I don't understand how to speak English all the time either.
Oh, I messed it up a lot just in this stream.
I try to, at least if I'm going to post something, make sure that what I say makes sense.
Yes. And if the post is like, I'm going to call out this person for what I perceive as being stupid, and then you post gobbledygook.
Well, then you're going to get it thrown back at you.
Yeah. All right.
Boy.
I know you saw this one. This was good. This is from Sunshine and Rain 959.
Well, I know a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses, whether you agree with them or not. There is one thing for sure. If the Bible is correct, there will be a day of reckoning for everyone, whether they are Jehovah's Witnesses or Catholics or Muslims or any other religious group or non-religious people. It depends on how much you believe what the Bible says.
I happen to think Jehovah's Witnesses are the most courageous people on the planet. Just that person, just in their opinion. They were sent to Nazi concentration camps in World War II because they refused to Heil Hitler or participate in the Nazi war effort. Many were executed or died from horrendous treatment dished out by the Nazis. In fact, the SS officers would only allow Jehovah's Witnesses to use long knives to shave them because they knew they respected human life?
I don't know what that means.
So sorry, but I love Jehovah's Witnesses regardless of what you say. Peace. Okay, so this is so...
But they're not taking into consideration the 6 million Jews that were killed and slaughtered.
This is...
Like, that's disgusting.
I keep on meaning to make a video about this, but it's just kind of like... This has to be the grossest, weirdest thing that Jehovah's Witnesses do, is make the Holocaust all about them. Like, and we all did this when we were in the group, but it's like, dude, gay people were also thrown in concentration camps. And more of them than Jehovah's Witnesses, by the way.
Yeah.
So it's like, yes, of course, anybody who was like had to deal with the Nazis, this is not a unique claim that they can make.
No.
It wasn't all about you, Sweaty.
They just have the wrong interpretation of the Jewish people and Jewish belief system. And it shows when you see comments like this because, first of all, you're not educating yourself. You're only taking things for what the organization says at face value. It shows because you are posting something that you're not wrong, but you're absolutely not right. Like, you're not wrong that Jehovah's Witnesses were also killed in Nazi Germany, but they certainly aren't like something special. If anything, the Jews were the target.
Oh, of course,
and they were the majority who died. So you're taking away this like tragic thing, making it yours.
But the kind of weird, like really disturbing thing about the JW theology is like, they basically, from the JW standpoint, Satan did the Holocaust and like tried to smuggle in his true targets, Jehovah's Witnesses. Like, they really believe that the persecution of Jewish people was like a front for Satan's real target, and thus Hitler's real target, the Jehovah's Witnesses, which is just so fucking disgusting.
Talk about conspiracy theory at its finest.
And also, like, okay, what about the Jehovah's Witnesses who are alive now, who obviously never were in a concentration camp?
Well, so
okay.
that was going to be the other thing. That I was going to say was the fact that like that person who posted that, they never experienced anything close to the concentration camps. So I just feel like if you're going to speak on something, you should probably not be so free with your opinion if you don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, this I gotta say some words on. This. This is from Trebantislaw. This is on the Ben interview. This discussion is a prime example of people who left the cult but still have cult member mentality. You can't challenge consensus. Evolutionary biologists know better. Are just arguments from authority. It's just different authority than the governing body. You don't have academic skills. It's just another version of brothers from the branch office guided by the Holy Spirit know better. You first knew better because you were JWs. Now you know better because you aren't JWs anymore. Mentality remains. Just the vector has changed. And so my comment was, you literally think you know better too. I can just go no you to that, because clearly they think that they've got it figured out.
But also, why is there so many quotation marks?
They're like paraphrasing Ben, I guess, in the interview, because he was talking about being an atheist. I mean, I'm also an atheist, but I
feel like it's so distracting. Like, you don't have to paraphrase it. We know what he said. You don't even have to comment. You can just move right on.
Yeah.
Go away.
Yeah. So this, Emily Lopez says, those are my favorite. Being educated by actual experts is the same as obeying people with no credentials who use psychological manipulation.
Yep.
Yeah, like believing proudly uneducated old men who say that they were chosen by Jesus Christ in heaven invisibly, and are special people, one of 144,000 people to ever exist who get to distribute truth. That's a different kind of authority than like a nebulous group of scientists who are, not making any appeals to magic or invisible things and are constantly challenging the scientific consensus. Like, scientists are constantly trying to prove each other wrong.
Yes.
That's the entire point of having testable, falsifiable claims.
Yes, and that's why scientists are constantly experimenting and coming up with hypothesis that can be either agreed or disagreed upon, because they want to know.
Yeah.
They want to be challenged, and they want to challenge.
Yeah, and it's also just like, I don't know. I feel like theists who get hung up on this point just have, it's sort of a projection thing, where like every accusation is a confession. Like, they kind of assume that, like, on some level, they know that they are beholden to the authority of the Bible and that they must defend that at all costs, right? Or whatever their thing is. If it's not the Bible, maybe it's the Quran, maybe it's Dianetics or the latest Jordan Peterson book or whatever. Like, whatever. Like, they've got some source of information that they view to be more trustworthy than others, whatever. And I think they're projecting. But like, for me, like, I'm not going around all day every day thinking about science that much, to be totally honest. Like, me thinking about evolution happens hardly ever. I only think about it if like I'm watching like a nature documentary or something. It's just not important to my life.
Or if you read something that mentions like human evolution or how something was created or whatever you want to, whatever.
Yes.
But it's not like it's not like something you wake up with as a thought and go to sleep with as a thought.
Yep, totally. Like Karen Booth says, science tries to prove itself wrong, religion tries to prove itself right. Yep. I think that's the exact disconnect. Like, if you are a believer, you have, like, that has to be such a big part of your life. Like, you are stopping and praying and actively thinking, like, weighing your morality constantly against whatever divine hierarchy you're seeking. And, like, for an atheist like myself, like, I guess I'm a secular humanist. I just live my life. I've got things that I like, that I'm passionate about, that I do. And like, science is frankly just not that important in terms of like, I really like listening to science. I really like listening to smart people who can do like a fun YouTube video about stuff like Forrest Valkai or Erica Gibbons, like people like that. Aaron Ra, they're all very passionate about science and they're really good at talking about it. So it's interesting to me, but it's not like what I center my life around. What I center my life around is more, I guess, humanism.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that's, I think that to some extent, science and religion both kind of miss the mark on humanism. And that's not to diss on science or anything. But
it's just like it's not the job of science.
Correct.
Yeah, because it's not an ideology.
Correct.
It's just a field of study.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I mean, no, like coming from my own personal experience and, you know, being in the social work field, you know, I think that being a humanist or a humanitarian or whatever you want to term yourself, that in itself could be science and religion. You know?
I think it goes to the misconception that, like, if you're an atheist, you no longer believe in anything, which is just, like, it's just not true.
Can't I just believe in humans and the good that they possess?
Right. Like, maybe later in the stream, I was kind of curious to watch. John Green did a crash course on atheism. Kind of,
cool.
I think it's called, like, Is Atheism Religion? I'm interested to see what he says, actually. But Hank Green just did a really great video about, I think it's just called You Are Not Evil. And it's just about kind of like recontextualizing the way we think about humanity in terms of, it's very easy, especially when times are tough, to like focus on all the evil that man has done. But like when you think about as a species, all the good that we have done and all the amazing ways that we've progressed, like, humanism just describes your general moral priorities. It can mean a lot of different things. One last one that I'm not going to read, but I want you to see it. And we'll all look at it.
What? Why are we using the R word? That's a really upsetting word for me because that word is filled with so much hatred about a population of people that they have no understanding about.
Yeah.
And then also, were you saying that race wasn't a reality? It is a reality in the sense that it's a social construct. That is our reality.
I know. I'm just like,
I mean,
and by that I mean you don't. Yeah, you don't in fact have to hand it to them. Yeah, it's just like...
Yeah, that makes me mad.
This is the... Yeah. Good, I wanted to make you mad before you left.
Oh, good. That was very kind. What a great graduation present to give me.
And that is, you know, nothing else has happened for the graduation.
No,
we went straight home. I said, she's like, oh, do you want to go? I said, no. We'll talk on the stream tomorrow, and then we'll talk, you know, next Sunday after that. And this is your present. So
when I'm not on stream, we're never talking to each other.
My entire life is what you're seeing on the channel. Nothing else happens off camera.
Yeah. Race is a reality.
I just like you.
Oh yeah. Never in my life am I going to say.
Yeah. It's just like.
It's like saying, not that it's equivalent, but in my heart, it hurts me just as much as saying like the N-word.
Well, say them both out loud now and see which one hurts your feelings more. I'm kidding. Just kidding. No.
If you want people to think that you're a supremacist, this is a good way to get them on board.
Oh, I know. I'm just like, people get mad at the weirdest shit, man. Like, that's such a small part of the video. And I really did try and like word it in such a way, like, listen, I'm not saying like all the governing body members have to be diverse and woke or whatever. But there's no appeasing racists, you see.
No. Well, but see, the thing is that you're not like saying something that isn't true. They literally don't have diversity. They have
yeah, that's why I thought
they have token races on the governing body to say, hey, we are diverse. We are a worldwide organization because look at the people that we have on here. That doesn't mean that they're diverse or inclusive. In fact, that shows that they are the opposite. Yeah,
it seems like a pretty obvious... Yeah, this is... There's an opening, I've heard. There's an opening. I heard that the girl who looks just like Ben Shapiro, but I guess isn't, is leaving. And so I'm really trying to get in there. That's where the easy money is.